All right, peace and blessings, everybody. Saturday, February the 10th, the year 2018. And, I made another time lapse of me taking off the other rear drum. I did one earlier, but I thought I would just, as you do things more and more, you can do a better job at it. If you're not interested in car videos or truck videos, then this video is obviously not for you. I like working on old trucks, and we got this truck, I think it was for $1,300, a little bit less than a year ago. And it is a massive truck. It's a C3500. It's a 1989 model, which means that it's 29 years old. That means that it doesn't have to do pollution inspection, by the way. So that's a very big benefit. It's got I put a huge rack on it so I can carry 24-foot ladders. It'll haul anything. It's got a 454 engine. Like I said, it's a massive truck. I think it's a C3500. And if I can keep it running, it'll be a real good investment. And I think I will be able to keep it running. It has a good engine in it. I just need to get the brakes fixed. And I took apart the brakes on the passenger side, and I'm working on replacing the shoes on the rear drums over there. But in order that I can have something to look at when I put it all back together, I thought, well, it's best if I take the tire off on the driver's side, because it's got these little bitty springs. You got all these little bitty pieces and parts. And if I don't have something to look at, I don't know if I'm going to be able to put all that thing back together from memory. I did take a picture of it, but it's just very helpful to have something to look at it. So I broke off from what I was doing, and I came on the driver's side, and I'm taking off the rear wheel and the rear drum on the driver's side, and I'm going to narrate. As it took me over 33 minutes, by the way, which is a god-awful amount of time to take off a wheel on a truck. And you'll see why. There's three big issues that I seem to run into. One of them is this little, it's a rectangular, like it looks like a little bitty, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a shoebox. It's a little bitty metal piece. I call it a keepway, and it's stuck inside your wheel cylinder, or it's stuck in your axle, inside your axle, and you simply will not be able to get your drum off if you don't get that keepway out of the way. And the only way that I found to get it out is to use tweezers. If I had to do it over again and I didn't have a pair of tweezers, I probably would try to use a magnet, because it's stuck in there and it's floating, it's free floating around. And you have to take that keepway out, otherwise you'll never get the drum off. And tweezers or a magnet is what I would recommend at this point. Of course, keep in mind, I'm just a shade tree mechanic. You real mechanics, I'd defer to you for your professionalism, but sometimes videos like this will help other folks out, and it certainly helps me out a year from now when I try to do this again. So there's also like a little thin clip, and it goes around the entire outside of the inner wheel. And you have to take that off. That's real easy to take off, but just don't forget to take it off. Otherwise, you'll be wondering why nothing's coming off. So the keepway is one thing. That's one of my major problems I've ran into. The second thing is the wheel itself. And you'll see me banging on this thing with a big old crowbar, and it just will not come off. And like I said, this is a 1989 truck. I don't know how many miles is on it, because the odometer stopped working long ago. And so when you have an old truck like this, they don't care about the odometer reading anymore. And so that's not important for me to fix. But that tire was stuck on the hub, and I simply couldn't get it off. You'll see what I do. I have to kick the crap out of it to break it loose, and I can finally pull the tire off. So the keepway, sometimes you got to really, really kick these tires hard to get them off. And the third thing was the shoes inside the drums had spread out so much that I couldn't pull the drum off. And you have to pull off the dust cover in the back, and you got to know which way to adjust the adjuster it spreads the shoes in and out. But you have to put your screwdriver and point it up and then pull down. I was doing it the opposite because I didn't know which way I should go, but I felt like I eventually locked up the hub and I couldn't turn it at all, so I knew I was going the wrong way. So you have to put your screwdriver, you have to get it connected onto the adjuster and then pull down on it inside the wheel, and that'll pull your shoes together. And then when your shoes get pulled together, then you can finally pull the drum off, which I did successfully do after about 33 minutes. But let's watch this, and you guys will see what I mean. So here's me with my tire iron, and I've got a crossbar tire iron, and those bolts are on there so tight, I have to use like a 4-foot leverage bar. I simply cannot take them off, and this is while the wheel is sitting on the ground, by the way. You can't, this is me finally jacking up the wheel because I broke all the bolts loose. You say, how many bolts do you have to break loose to take this tire off? 16? You ever had a tire with 16 bolts? So, anyway, you'll see me taking off the 16 bolts right now. I put them in I put them all in the same place so I know where they are. And then I take out like a 2.5-foot floating axle. So just the act of changing a tire requires you to remove 2.5 foot of your axle, which I thought was very unique. I've never had to do anything like that before. And here I'm finally taking off the 8 lug nuts, and I finally get them all off. And then I'm trying to take the tire off right here. You see, it's not coming off. I'm kicking it and beating on it. It's like, you know, you see me with a crowbar, and I'm beating on it, and I don't know what to do, man. I say, how come this? And I spray some penetrating oil on it to try to loosen it up. Eventually, it'll go by real quick, but I will just kick the crap out of that tire. Here's me beating on it with a mallet. I'm like, what is going on? I can't get this tire off. Finally, I kick the crap out of it, and I'm able to get the tire off. Okay, that's just half the battle. Now I got to take the drum off. So you saw me take the thin metal clip. That's very important. You don't forget that. You got to take a thin metal clip off. And then I finally work on the keepway. And I'm working on the keepway right now. And I got some tweezers and finally got it out. So I got the keepway. Then you back out the inner ball bearings. So I got the clip, the keepway, and the ball bearings. They're out. And right now I'm trying to pull the drum off. And the other side, the drum came right off. But this side, the drum's not coming off. I'm having a major problem right here. I'm like, I can't get the drum off. You know, and this is a massive drum, by the way. I don't know how much it weighs. It must weigh like 80 pounds. It's a massive, massive drum. It's like nothing, no other drum I've ever messed with. So right now I'm pulling the dust cover off the back of the drum, and I'm trying to adjust the shoes, but because I have a 50-50 chance at guessing right or wrong, I guessed wrong, and I ended up tightening up the shoes. And so I don't like being under this truck without 3 or 4 jacks because, you know, if one of your jack fails, that thing's going to come down and crush your head. So I put 3 jacks. I got 1 jack in the middle and 1 jack on each side. And right now I got a screwdriver, and right now I'm probably learning to adjust going down. I try to adjust the camera, but there you can see the adjustment hole. And if you don't know about this little trick, you're never going to get that drum off. And so I finally adjusted the shoes and pulled them in, and there's the drum brakes right there, the shoes, and I got the drum pulled off. So this is going to allow me to look at something as I'm putting together the other side, and that's my experience in working on a C3500 1989 Chevrolet Silverado with a 454 engine. Pulling off the drums was one of the hardest drums I've ever pulled off in my life. It ain't nothing like any other truck I've ever messed with. But like I said, it's a massive truck, and it's got, you know, great hauling capability. But because it's old, it needs a lot of work, and that's what I'm trying to do. So anyway, thanks for hanging around. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. And for any of you guys who have old 1989 Chevrolet Silverados, maybe it'll help you. If it don't help you, I guarantee you it'll help me in about a year from now when I try to remember everything I did to get that drum off. Take care, God bless, and we'll be uploading more videos later on.